We are far beyond ordinary humans. Those of us in CP9 have been training for as long as we can remember. We gained 6 superhuman fighting skills through that training. What's up y'all, Shadex here, and today I'll be explaining the 6 powers, aka the Rokushiki techniques. The Rokushiki is a set of martial arts consisting of 6 abilities that when mastered, basically turn the user into a superhuman. It's unknown who or where these skills came from, but we do know that agents of the world government such as the Marines or Cypherpol have an affinity towards them. Now by no means do you have to master all 6 abilities to be powerful. In fact, there are only a handful of individuals who have done that, and even just mastering one is enough to make someone OP. Because not only do all of these techniques just require your own body, but also the training to achieve the 6 powers will probably make you a beast on your own. Since the Rokushiki rely on physical capability alone, you have to be extremely strong to actually use them. But even then, those who aren't could still use incomplete versions. Now it is important to mention that the 6 powers aren't a main power system of One Piece. Obviously, Whitebeard didn't know any of them, and he was still the strongest man in the world. But for 2 fighters that are relative in stats, the Rokushiki could give one a big advantage. Which brings me to the actual abilities themselves. First up, we have Tekkai, or Iron Body. This power does exactly what you would think. By hardening their muscles, the user can essentially become iron, in a sense. However, a drawback for this technique is that you can't move while using it, and since it relies on a user's physical prowess, it can be broken by someone far stronger. Even so, some people have found a way around this, such as Jabra. Jabra mastered Tekkai to the point where he can use it while moving. He even created an entire martial art around this, called Tekkai Kempo. Moving on to the next technique, we have Kami-e, or paper art. Kami is the complete opposite of Tekkai. With this form, a user is able to relax their muscles to the point where they become extremely flexible and move like paper. Having this paper-like structure allows the user to shift and bend their body around attacks. It doesn't even stop there, as the most extreme example of Kami is Paper Slime, in which the user can make their body shift with the characteristics of slime rather than paper. The next evasive technique is Soru, or shave. By kicking the ground 10 times in an instant, a person can enhance their speed stat. In fact, to the untrained eye, it looks like the opponent is vanishing. Basically just Flash Step from other anime. Again, it is important to note that while shave can give someone a leg up in combat, you could just be that fast to the point where you don't need it. This was seen in Luffy's second fight with Bluno, where he was just so fast that he didn't need shave to keep up. Fun fact, Luffy is so quick in Gear 2nd because he uses Soru, so yeah. The next and most versatile move out of all of the 6 powers is Geppo. Geppo, or Moonwalk, is a technique in which the user kicks so hard that they push off the air. It's basically just flight, and while that may not sound crazy, you have to remember that this is the world of One Piece. Most characters don't know how to fly, and it's a good example of how the Rokushiki could give someone an advantage. For instance, Zoro is physically strong enough to use Geppo, but since he can't, he has to worry about falling off the cliff in his fight with King, whereas Sanji can dodge Queen's lasers in midair. Speaking of Sanji, he created his own advanced version of Geppo called Blue Walk, in which he can use Geppo underwater. Now fortunately, the Rokushiki also include offensive techniques as well. The first of these is Rankyaku, or Tempest Kick. Similar to Geppo, the user kicks the air with so much force that they create an air slash. This move not only counts as a cutting attack, but also a projectile. Rankyaku comes in all sorts of variations as well, such as how Lucci can fire it from his tail, or how Kaku can shoot a straight type version instead of the basic curved slash. The final technique of the 6 powers is Shigan, or finger pistol. This skill is pretty straightforward. The user shoots their finger into a target with so much force that it acts as sort of a bullet. However, not only can Shigan be used with fingers, but also fangs, noses, hair, and pretty much any other protruding body part. Shigan can also be used as a small projectile as well. So yeah, that was all 6 out of the 7 Rokushiki techniques. Yeah, 6 powers, it's stupid. But only after mastering all 6 powers can a user perform the hidden 7th ability, Rokuogun. Rokuogun, or Six King Gun, is basically just a Dragon Ball Z attack. By focusing all of their physical strength into their fists, The user fires an insanely powerful shockwave with their knuckles. This shockwave does take quite a toll on the user, but it also does internal damage and is far more powerful than any Tempest Kick or Finger Pistol. However, the 8th and most devious technique of all the Rokushiki is Chokai, or to bother. This technique is so sacred that only the author himself knows how to use it, but I also have a fan theory that Spandam or Flampe could use it as well. I know it's a little bit out there, but think about it, they're both the most annoying characters in One Piece, and their peers can use the Rokushiki techniques as well. So it could make sense. Okay, but seriously though, that wraps up the 7-6 powers, but I do want to go over some important combinations, because it is possible to use 2 or more techniques at the same time. First we have Kamisori, which involves using Geppo and Soru at the same time, allowing for a person to move at blinding speeds while in the air. Another technique is Tekkai Rin, in which a user launches themselves at an opponent with Soru and then hardens their body at the last second with Tekkai, essentially making a person a living cannonball. Tekkai Kempo also counts because Jabra can use all of the other Rokushiki techniques while using Tekkai, but there are far more combinations than just these 3, and that's what makes the Rokushiki so awesome. There are 6 simple abilities that can be incorporated into any fighting style for any character. So comment down below which of the Rokushiki techniques would you use if you could only pick one. Mine would obviously be Geppo. I mean, come on dude, fucking flight. But anyways, that's it for the Rokushiki techniques. I'll see y'all next week. Bye!